link and we can go live. Okay, Johnny, can you check your sharing now? Can you share just to make sure that everybody can share?
Yeah, let's have a look. Where's the thing that I'm sharing? Right, okay, so can't even see it. Right there, yeah. Okay.
Okay, I got it. Okay, guys, so we're going live on YouTube. I'm sharing that and we can start. Just give me like 1 minute. Because we need to tell everybody that we're live, otherwise we're not doing anything. You guys can chat until you're waiting for me. I don't have music, so
every time when I'm running the webinars, do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay. Every time when I'm running webinars, I always get something wrong, you know, like either the YouTube live don't go live or the Facebook live don't go live, and then goes out on Twitter live, but not on LinkedIn. You know, it's I don't know. It's always the same. You know. Now I want to know, where are you live now, Nick?
YouTube, always.
That's for sure. YouTube, I always get it right.
Yeah, I always use YouTube. I mean, if it
so
works,
you don't go anywhere else. Like you don't go anywhere else live as well. Oh, okay, interesting.
No.
Because you have like 3 or 4 options, I think.
I know. Always YouTube. You know, see Facebook. I mean, I know.
Okay.
On Facebook they always send me like some nude pictures and stuff like that. I mean, it's not for business. So, anyways, okay, guys. So we're live on YouTube. Alex, you know, he said that he's gonna join. I guess he has some issues with connection. So, we're live on YouTube. I'm gonna share the screen and we can get started. So, okay,
perfect.
See. Okay, do you guys see my screen?
Wow, are you beginning, Nick?
Yeah, I always begin. Usually I always begin and finish, but today is gonna be a little different because I'm starting to do it as quickly as possible, just to have more information, like more time for the other speakers. But I'm gonna speak after that. So hello everybody, thank you for joining our webinar. Good evening, good morning for you guys. I know that you're everywhere. We're gonna do the first webinar from the expansion series. Now the topic today is e-commerce expansion to Europe and the USA. Smashing for bulkers with one simple solution. It's not simple, but we have a partner squad who can make your life much easier. You know, the speakers today are Alex Friedman, founder of Wapi, Hi Mac, founder and CEO of Eva Guru, Jonathan Stacker from Vanquish, Omar Angri, CEO from Margin Business, and Ricky Hooker, general manager from Global E-commerce Experts. And I'm Nick Penny, your host today. I'm the partnership manager at Hello Tax and the co-founder of Extreme Power Brands. And like always, you know, we have some sponsors who are helping us to actually get more exposure to these events. Today we have our platinum sponsor, which is Viably. They're a funding company. They can help your shop from the US. They can actually help your shop to go from US to Europe with their revenue-based funding programs designed specifically to provide online sellers with funds they need to achieve their expansion goals, because without money, sometimes it's hard to do what you want. So they're going to help you out with that. They have a giveaway only for the webinar attendees and the people who sign up. Viably Growth Capital is offering 15,000, receive an additional 1K free, which is a fee-free for the first-time customer only. So if you would like to expand in Europe, they can provide you the funding that you need for that. Then the gold sponsor today is actually not one, but the so-called expansion to Europe partner squad. Hello Tax, Viably, Eva, Link My Books, Hello Tax again, Complizone, Wapi, Airwallex, and Margin Business. So these companies are the all-in-one expansion to Europe solution: VAT, accounting automation, product compliance, logistics, customs translation, product research funding, reimbursement, FX bonuses, and agency recommendations. So just keep in mind that each brand who would like to expand to Europe or to USA, actually I haven't typed USA, but you can qualify if you're going to USA, you can get up to or even more than 3,000 per brand. These are discounts from all the partners here, so we can make your life easier, because everybody's going to say, okay, but I don't have the money. Okay, that's why we're going to give you the advice, and we're going to give you some money or actually discount so we can actually make the next step. Our Silver sponsor is Extreme Power Brands. That is my partnership agency. We provide the partnership service, and we have a network of 1,000 plus more than 1,000 companies which are e-commerce service providers. And what we do, we help companies to grow through partnerships. Each month we offer one giveaway, a free partnership audit, and you need to be an e-commerce service provider to qualify. We're going to tell you if you're great or if you suck, and we're going to be honest because we don't need anything from you, just your website. And the last but not the least is our bronze sponsor, Dobias. They're our content partner. They're an award-winning creative service company for Amazon sellers that designs product infographics, EBC images, and videos. They're giving away free complete sets of EBC images for free, value $600. So that's enough for the sponsors. Thank you again, guys. No, we cannot do it without you. At least we need your money, that's for sure. So thank you for that. And of course, here is the agenda, because I assume you guys don't came here just to watch my pretty face. You know, I put makeup, but anyways, I mean, I'm sure you're not here for that. So here's the agenda. First, I'm gonna start first. I promise I'll be very quick. I'm gonna outline what you need to know about the expansion to Europe and USA. Multiple blockers, one partner squad comes to the rescue, and I'm not joking. Then Kai from Eva is going to talk about how to maximize Amazon profitability when you're expanding to new markets, because if you have revenue and you don't make profit, I mean, you don't have like an excessive funds which can invest to do your expansion. So profitability is the most important. And so he's going to teach you how you can actually do that. Then Johnny from Vanquish, he's going to talk about the power positioning for a successful global expansion. What Google won't tell you, you know. Of course, Google is not going to tell anything, but he has been doing that for a long time. He has been doing that for his own brands, and he's doing that for a multi-million-dollar brands right now. Then Ricky is going to talk about the total end-to-end solution to expansion for Europe for 3 simple steps: compliance, logistics, online distribution. This is now their bread and butter. So this is what global e-commerce experts are doing, expansion to Europe. They're the experts here. Then Alex from Wapik is going to talk about how to optimize fulfillment and logistics cost when you expand to Europe and the USA, because after VAT compliance, the next thing that you need to take care is logistics. And the last but not the least is Omar and margin business. Know your customers and speak their language, because you're not going to sell anything. Enhancing marketing effectiveness on global e-commerce platforms through localization. So the keywords are here: language, speak their language, and localization. Of course, at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, comments, feel free to type them in the chat or the Q&A session, and we're going to answer them at the end. If you have to leave, don't worry. We're always recording our webinars. We're streaming live on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to watch the recording. We're going to send the follow-up tomorrow with the giveaways from all speakers and sponsors, and the recording and the breakdown for each session. So list, okay, what's up? Okay, so Europe, you know, everybody knows that Europe is great. The summer is approaching, so it's a great vacation spot. There is no doubt about that. So I'm gonna ask you a question. You don't mind going to vacation in Europe, so you don't mind spending money in Europe, but some people are not actually worried about selling in Europe. So if you spend money here, you should at least try to make some money. It's a huge market. You have more than 450 million new customers. Europe has 3 million e-commerce brands compared to over 9 million in the USA. So we have 3 times less brands, which means less competition than the USA. This is like a crazy fact that is from my man Steph from Marketplace. Only 2% of Amazon sellers in the USA are also selling on Amazon Pioneer, which means on all Amazon Marketplace. So if you're a US seller doing well in the USA, and if you're not selling in Europe, you should know that 98% of your competitors are not selling in Europe. So it's still early. Even if you're selling in the USA, it's just one market. The world is big. Europe has almost 50% higher population. And the one thing that I'm not mentioning here, Europe has the highest average order value. So you can actually do very well with high value products in Europe. You're gonna be selling to 50 new countries. And of course, like I said, if your competitors are not doing that, you'll be the first one. So it's a huge opportunity. And the last but not the least, selling to a whole new continent, to a whole new market would allow you to source more products, so you can actually reduce the cost from your suppliers and manufacturers. So it's actually another thing that you can think of. So what are the blockers? No, I'm gonna scan quickly for those because our speakers are going to cover them in more details. The first and the most important thing is having the right product. Without product, you don't need me, you don't need Hai, you don't need anybody else here because you have nothing to sell. So the first and the most important thing is to have a product. Even if you don't have a product, you can use tools like Zongo and other product research solutions. I believe now Ricky and Global eCommerce experts are actually providing that. So you can actually do research and you can find the product that you're going to sell. If you have an existing product, you can use these tools to research which markets are good for you. What is your competition? In some tools like Zongo, you can even see how much is your estimated investment to expand to those markets. So use the solutions, make a research, and see which would be your market, go to market in Europe. Then the second part, let's say you have the product, what you should need to know. So the next thing that you need to are the following things: value-added tax, which is like the sales tax in the States, product compliance, fiscal representation in some markets, and customs and logistics. The first thing that you need to check in Europe is product compliance, because if you need to actually get a certification, sometimes you need to wait a few months. So this is the thing that you need to check before VAT. So once you verify if you need or don't need that, then you go to the next step. You get the VAT. The VAT takes 2 to 4 months, and this is where HelloTax is going to help out. Now, this is what we specialize in: the VAT compliance for e-commerce sellers selling in Europe or European sellers selling outside of their home country. For the product compliance, we have a partner who can help out with that, who has been managing the partnership for the compliance for one of the largest aggregators. Fiscal rate is something that you might need in some markets. It is required by the tax authorities, but that's why you need advice from companies like HelloTax, so we can guide you to go to markets where fiscal representation is not required for non-EU companies. Customs and logistics is the next step, and this is where Wapi and Ricky from Global e-commerce Experts are going to talk about in Europe, and Hai is going to talk about that in the States, and also Wapi. And the last but not the least is the culture and language barrier. This is where Omar comes into the picture. Now, I've been selling across Europe for 10 years. I used to run a private label supplement business, and I know for a fact, if your translation is not correct, people are not going to buy your stuff. So this is very important. And still, the AI tools cannot do it as a local person can do the translation, the localization. So this is your mini action plan. These are the steps. And like I said, you just need to be brave enough to try it, And just to give some more information about HelloTax, because we're the people who are solving the VAT compliance. So what we do, what problem are we solving? Like I said, if you're expanding to Europe, you need to be VAT compliant, and this is where we help out. But you also need the right partners, like we have some of them today, to help you expand to Europe. This is a really simple solution, and contrary to what Amazon is going to tell you, because if you go to Amazon, Amazon is going to tell, okay, we're going to give you a free VAT, and let's do the panny. Okay, don't listen to Amazon. No, Amazon makes money from from clients. No, so the more VATs you have, the more if you're on the pannier, they're going to make more money, but it's going to make your life harder. So in this case, this is why we recommend to everybody: start small and scale. To expand to Europe, you need just one VAT in UK or Germany. I strongly recommend Germany for a few reasons. They accept documents in English. There is no fiscal representation in Germany, which means less compliance, less fees on your end. Germany has a specific tax authority which deals with US only companies. So, for example, UK companies are going to get the VAT slower than US companies, which is crazy, but this is the reality. Chinese clients wait a lot, but US clients have priority. The last but not the least, actually, two more facts. They're located in the center of Europe, so they're an ideal dispatch point from the logistic point of view. And the last but not the least, for example, Amazon Germany is the third largest marketplace in the world after USA and in Japan. So this is what you need to do. Product compliance. We have a partner who is going to check on that. Omar, they're going to check your translation, localization. Kai is going to help out with the reimbursement, because some people don't know that, but Amazon might owe you a ton of money. So if you don't know, you have never tried to claim them. So you might have a big pot of money waiting, which you can use to fund the expansion. And the last but not the least, we have Viably as a partner to help with the funding if you're based in the USA. If you're based in Europe, you have another partner who is not here today at the webinar. So HealthTax provides the VAT compliance, which means that we're going to set up your VAT, we're going to connect your Amazon Shopify accounts, we're going to pull your data, we're going to do your digital VAT returns and everything that you need to do. The only thing that you need to do is deal with your business, because you actually outsource your VAT compliance and you take care of your business. And the last but not the least, now we have a software. You can check it out here. It's cool. It's built by the founders of HealthTax, which are ex-Amazon sellers. I used to be a client of HealthTax, by the way, before I sold my business. So I know for a fact why this is helping sellers. And I think that's it from us guys. We're giving away, as always, 6 pre-VAT registration. The total value is over $2,000 US. You just need to add a monthly or annual subscription for a VAT compliance to qualify. And of course, we have more discounts from our partners. But if you would like to get more information about how to expand to Europe, book a call with me. We're going to send an email with my booking link, or you can actually email me at np, like nickpanic@healthtax.com, and we can get you started. So that's it, guys. Let's see. Okay, 15 minutes, and Alex is here. Alex, thanks for seeing you, man.
Yes, hi. I'm already here for some 10, 12 minutes.
Okay, man. That's good. So I
nice
hope
to
that
see all of you, guys.
Okay. I was quick, and I summarized everything. So right now, you guys need to go into depth of what I just discussed. So hi, let's start with you, man. Profit is the most important thing. My wife never asks how much revenue I make. She asks, okay, how much profit do you have? So if always listen to your wife, she knows what is the most important. But of course, Hai is a true wizard of Amazon. He's gonna introduce himself. We know each other for a long time, but he has one of the best tools for Amazon. And I'll let him talk more about what he does and introduce himself. So thank you, Hai. Thanks for joining.
Thank you very much, Nick. And also, hi to everybody. Omar, John, Alex, Ricky, great to see you again. So today we're going to talk about the profits, and I would like to make it really very clear about 5 ways to increase your profits on Amazon. So after 15, 10, 12 years of selling on Amazon, for the last 4 years, I am managing Eva. And Eva is a technology company, also an agency that focused on increasing traffic, conversions, and profits across Amazon, Walmart, Etsy, Wayfair, and Fairy. So we are now an omnichannel platform. And today we talk about the profits. And why do you need profits? Because a lot of people now also asking me whether they should expand to Europe or they should expand to US. And because of the economical situations, they say, hey, maybe we should not do it now. But here's the thing. If you can increase your profits, you can use that money to expand and grow, because the e-commerce game is always about growth, but it's about profitable growth, right? If you don't have the profits, you're going to lose money by growing. So let's talk about these 5 killer strategies for the next 10 minutes. And let me start with, and I'll show you a little bit about the Eva platform as well, maybe just 30 seconds. So first, one thing that already Nick mentioned, if you have your VAT registration done, your company is there, you are ready to export to US or Europe, you definitely need a 3PL. So in US, we are serving a lot of European customers. We have 3PL warehouses in Houston, in Houston, Texas, in New York, as well as in the California area. So we cover both East and West Coast. And Houston is super important because we also have a returns management facility there. I would like to talk about the returns management, but also our partners in this call, they have the warehouses in Europe. So you are all covered for Europe and US. So with this call, so that's also very important to mention. Now, in terms of returns, if you are in Europe and you're expanding to US or vice versa, you are not physically present. You don't have a warehouse. And unfortunately, with some of the items, especially if you have a lot of variations, if your items are priced over $10, the returns becomes an issue, and the returns, kind of vary between maybe 3% up to even 20% if you are in the apparel business. Now, what happens is, like, if you let Amazon to automatically, kind of take care of the returns, unfortunately, a lot of your stuff will be disposed, which are pretty much either they are new or like new. And this is one of the things that we solve with our returns management facility, because it's really like a 50 cents thing to send it to our returns management, where we inspect every single return. And very surprisingly, we are able to send the items back to Amazon at a 70% rate in the new condition, which means that, just to give you an idea, which is very common with US shoppers, but it might also be applicable to Europeans, somebody buys a large item and an X large item. Obviously, the large fits to them. Okay, so they just return the X large, goes back to Amazon, and Amazon checks it, dispose the item. Waste of money, talent, time. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? If it comes to our warehouse, we check the item, maybe we repackage it, send it back to Amazon. Now you have your returns covered. So this can increase your profits by 3 to 10%. And it also depends on the price and the product. But in some categories where returns are higher, it makes a lot of sense. And if for the others, it still makes sense. You're not doing anything. Somebody's covering all the returns for you. So another thing that maybe you should be looking at is, in a new market, you're going to have the search engine optimization done, as well as the PPC done. So what we are doing is, with Eva, we have an AI-based platform where we are able to almost 80% automate all campaign automation campaigns, as well as creation and bid optimization. And why I said 80%, I mean, by the way, I'm a computer engineer with a background of AI for the last 24 years now. And I can tell you that the context requires you to have the automation as well as a PPC specialist. The best approach is always to have the hybrid approach. But at this moment, 80% of the things on the PPC can be automated. And if you can use the automation combined with an expert, then you can reduce the PPC agency cost by 50%, and you can expand to multiple markets. And, that's where also you can get support from my great friend Omar, because yes, we can immediately replicate and start selling in Spain, in Italy, but there is always a bit of a localization required, because every market is different. The translations not always work. But in terms of AI, I mean, it's kind of like finding all the keywords, whether it's in Italian, Spanish, French, and we have the PPC specialists, which their local language is basically they speak the languages of that Amazon market. I think that consolidating the SEO and PPC and using the AI automation, whether it's Eva or not, can increase your profits by 20 to 30% and reduce your ad management cost by 50%. Now, another thing which a lot of sellers are not using very much today, only maybe 5% of them are using it, including maybe at least the top 20 Amazon sellers in US. I'm talking about the guys doing $100 million. But actually, this technology is available even if you are doing $5,000 a month. You can use dynamic pricing to increase the profit margins. What we do with Eva, again, it's another AI tech, not like the one that I mentioned about ad optimization, but this time the AI works to find the best price every day, meaning that if your demand is increasing, the prices will increase. If your inventory is low, maybe the price will increase. If you are spending money on advertising, and maybe, the system will say, hey, I should keep the price the same because this guy is spending money on advertising. So the sessions are increasing. So there is a lot of things that can be done with the price. And I always get this question, whether price is important, whether we should focus too much on advertising, whether it's SEO. Hey guys, it's a combination of all of them. And advertising gives you traffic, which is great. But that's one of the reasons why I don't like a PPC only approach, because pricing, it's on its own, will help you to increase your conversions, which will indirectly reduce your advertising cost as well, right? But at the same time, if you know the best price every day, that helps you to increase your profits by 5 to 15%. We have done this with almost 200,000 SKUs so far. Incredible results, and I'm being very conservative with that 5 to 15%. Now, let's continue with another one that Nick mentioned. It's about reimbursements. I think that maybe 60 to 70% of our audience knows about reimbursements now. It's not like 3 years ago where people were not aware of it. What it means is Amazon FBA, there is a lot of areas that some mistakes happen. Like during the inbound shipment, you send 100 items, maybe Amazon receives 98. Now, normally that 2 items are lost by Amazon. Now they should pay you that, right? Actually, they should pay you the whatever your sales price is. But sometimes these payments are not done. What we do is like we look into more than 30 cases, and we make sure that not even a single penny is left on the table. This includes, for example, checking your remeasurements, ensuring that like the package size, I mean, the FBA fees are right for your remeasurements. It also includes like if the customer returned, like claims that they returned something, which means Amazon will automatically refund them. But do they really return something? And even if they returned, did they really return the right item? What happens with warehouses and all the things lost when it is in transit between pan-European warehouses, which always happens. So reimbursements is typically we can recover 2 to 3% of your business. Now, the key point is we do it at a 13% recovery rate, recovery commission. So this is like a 50% cost reduction compared to any other reimbursement company in the market, because we believe, we can even further reduce the cost as an Amazon Advanced partner, and it will help you to increase your profits by another 5 to 7%. Now, that money you can use to expand into Europe or in US. And this happens in every single market, even including Japan, Australia, all European markets. It's applicable globally to every single Amazon marketplace. Another one is like, I always talk about like 4 pillars that every Amazon seller should look at, which is traffic, conversion, profits, and availability. So how can we avoid out of stock? So that's one of the biggest problems. Now, it's a combination of a lot of things. Now, you are expanding to Europe. You use like a VAPI warehouse, 3PL, or e-commerce experts, but at the end, having the 3PL helps you. Now, the second thing is you need to know for which product when to replenish the Amazon FBA, especially if you are utilizing FBA, which makes a lot of sense because it's cheaper, better. That's the way Amazon wants you to do things, as long as your product fits into the FBA. Then if you are able to use what we do is like a single-click replenishment forecasting and AI optimization algorithm this time. And I talked about AI now 3 times for dynamic pricing, for advertising automation, as well as now to avoid the stockouts. And with that, in 1 single minute, you will see what needs to be replenished every week on the Amazon FBA, which will avoid the stock. Now, in case you're not able to avoid the stockouts, you can still also use the dynamic pricing will automatically start increasing your price to delay the stock out, to give you some space, some time, but at the same time, because the price is increasing, you're going to be doing an extra profit as well. If you can avoid this, 10 to 15% profit increase. So I'm not going to go into all the details, but the key point here is you need to come up with a strategy which covers traffic conversion and profits all at the same time, rather than just focusing on one of it. That's the EVA philosophy. And here is like a few of the screenshots, but what I will do is like, I will just go into EVA for 30 seconds. And the idea here is, even when you have the EVA dashboard and you connect your store, whether it's in UK or Germany or in Japan, doesn't matter, you're going to have the full view of like what's going on with your profit, because you have your COGS, advertising costs, profits, expenses, and you can see all the details of what's going on with your sales. And that's at the store level, but even you can go into a single SKU. And for a single SKU, you can even have like a visibility of like what's going on with every single SKU. So hopefully I'm able to show that to you. And let me just like click to one item. So for example, here you see this one single item where what's going on with your profit and margin, your sales, but also like the profit details for every day. Not only that, a lot of sellers don't look into, for example, what's your sessions every day, what's your sales data, even the key performance metrics like ACOS and TACOS, and also reimbursements, refunds, and inventory management. So having that type of visibility is very important. First, you know what you need to know, and then the second, you take care of these 5 killer strategies. If you implement them, hey, I said 30%, because I thought maybe you're going to pick 1 or 2 or 3. But if you do all of them, you can make it to 50%. So thank you very much, Nick, for the time. And, thank you. If there are any questions, happy to answer them as well.
Okay, thanks, Hyde. That was short and sweet. And now we're going to have Johnny to talk about the expansion to the US in more details, because that's what Johnny does now. He's an expert in that, but he's not an agency. He has kind of unique service, and he's going to introduce himself, and he's going to tell more about what he does for e-com brand. So thank you, John.
Thanks, Nick.
Right now.
Thank you. Yes, so my name's Johnny Staker. I'm CEO of Vanquish Commerce Group. I've been doing this for 20 years or so now. Learned everything that I know through first-hand experience. I'm still doing that now. So, for example, we were one of the first companies back in 2015 to launch in the US under Wayfair's pilot scheme. So, but back then, of course, there was nobody to hold your hand and guide you. So you had to figure this stuff out through trial and error, really. We're obviously also very strong, support everybody here in terms of launching in the EU market. However, there's others here today to talk about that. So we've, decided to focus on the US today and talk a little bit about, briefly about the opportunity, the challenges, and, solutions available really for a US expansion. So if I could just share my screen. So just a whistle stop really for those people that are, for the European and British people with us that are not aware of the size of the opportunity. So set to be a $1.1 trillion e-commerce market versus about 768 billion in the EU. Obviously, there's varying statistics out there, but this is a fairly reliable source. Set to be 1.7 trillion by 2027. 268 million online shoppers, so potential for 268 million new customers if you're not already in the market, with the major advantage, particularly to, well, not necessarily, but for British brands, I was going to say, but one language rather than 9 or more. So if the EU is a fragmented market, the USA represents a more cohesive way to enter a much bigger market, and we've only got one story to tell. Whereas if we're selling in Europe, we've often got multiple stories to tell depending on the audience that we're talking to. So as far as we understand from the data, there's about 50% of EU sellers already active. Active in more than one EU country. And only 2%, so similar to Nick's figures on Europe. Think it's roughly the same in reverse, as far as we can tell. Only 2% of EU sellers are actually active in the USA at all. So I think the same expansion fears exist both ways, really. And Americans seem to perceive EU and British-made products as higher quality. In many cases, we like to think that's because they are high quality, and there's also a strong cultural attraction to products and brands that are from across the pond. So the UK has about 160 billion in e-commerce sales. Working your way through there, Germany 90, France 60. Netherlands, we've kind of stopped at the Netherlands with 22 billion, but we could have gone on. So looking at those types of figures, the opportunity in the States represents probably, between a 10 to 45x per SKU or ASIN opportunity to grow and expand the market, which is, clearly significant, whichever end of the spectrum. And although very competitive, we're not going to try to suggest that it's not. The USA, represents a blue ocean market of sorts for strong European brands and strong British brands with the right entry strategy. The challenges everybody's facing now, 2023 more so than ever, is, the current market, or our home market, is more and more saturated. There's increased ad spend and there's reduced demand. So all of those things come together really to create the perfect storm that nobody really wants. So without obviously dwelling on the negative, that's not, we're here to look at solutions. And, there are only two ways really that anybody can grow an e-commerce business. One is through new SKUs, greater ad spend. Another is through new markets. The challenge with new SKUs, of course, is that 70 to 80% of them fail when brought to market, and the cost to bring them to market, launch them, and build velocity has been enormous. We've talked about, I think somebody just talked about generating reviews and how difficult that initial process is. So to get to that and have a SKU fail is obviously a high cash flow risk, inventory costs, stocking, holding product. So in my opinion, more marketing and more SKUs, particularly at this time, is not the immediate answer to growth. We're all looking for the fastest cash cycle. So a solution, a more palatable solution, has to be new channel or new country. So if we take the USA example, we've discussed that there's 10 to 45x growth opportunity per SKU. And the beauty of that is that we're taking to market a proven SKU, so we don't have the same risks on that item. And in most cases, we'll endeavour to port those reviews. So reviews are portable, not just Amazon to Amazon, but there's tools out there to port reviews from across into Target, Walmart, Wayfair, Overstock. So we can take that with us and take the credibility with us, which gives us a very strong foundation when entering a new market with an existing SKU. So obviously some of the pitfalls that we see are that excuse me, went down the wrong hole. So some of the issues that we see are the fundamental things where I think that brand founders like myself, like I was years ago, we kind of go at everything in terms of, we'll give this a go, we'll throw some money at it, we'll have a gamble, and we'll kind of bootstrap things and do it ourselves. The issue with that, when it comes to expansion, when things are more critical, is that we make fundamental mistakes. So we fail to assess the opportunity properly. We're making guesses. We don't put in place an action plan. There's no market research as such being done to minimize risk. Huge things like the legal, the regulatory stuff, tax filing. You know, we've had people come to us that have accrued hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax bills that they weren't aware of because they didn't set up right in the beginning. UVP, something that we touched on as being a fairly strong topic at the beginning, which is the unique value proposition. So, you know, the US market really does seem to value a story and a brand over a product. So they're looking less for features and more about a brand story. So we tend to see this a lot where brands will just enter with a product and think it's just about selling a product. And it's not. It's really about stacking that UVP up and understanding the importance of how we're perceived and what our story is in that market. And of course, pricing, critical. We often see mispricing, so we don't allow for multi-channel. We've gone in with an Amazon Play and we've realized we can't accommodate other channels. And of course, discounts and allowances, which are equivalent to chargebacks and so on, unexpected fees with Amazon, all these kind of things that eat into our margins and make it very difficult to reprice from. And enormously, I think there's other people will talk a lot about fulfillment today, which is great. But, you know, one of the biggest ones and one of my biggest mistakes early on was fulfillment. So coming into, 3PLs based on promises made by them and what they could do, but they couldn't comply with fulfillment requirements, different channels. The location was wrong for the entry of the goods and so on. And it, again, can run into the hundreds of thousands to put something like that right. I know this because I've had that happen to me, exactly that. So, but failure in all of these areas often means a lifetime lost opportunity. So very seldom will somebody have another go at it once they've entered a market and failed. They will say that they're pulling out. It's no good for us, which is a tragedy when it's such a strong opportunity and could be avoided. So, you know, covering off and getting all these things right through planning, foundational setup, power positioning, diversified sales distribution, pricing, fulfillment, onboarding, and then specialists in all areas to ensure these things go to plan is absolutely crucial when entering the US market. And you know, of course, any market applies just the same to the EU. So there's two options, two ways we can do that. One is in-house, the other is outsourced. So we can look to build a team, but good quality talent is rare these days. And, you know, those guys are working for themselves and building their own empires. So it's difficult to do that. So we end up with smaller teams that probably miss opportunity for growth. It's costly, time consuming and risky. And then conversely, outsourcing that is, you know, a hell of a lot of different specialisms that we've got to stack and stitch together. And that's guesswork again as to whether these guys are going to be able to do all of the things that we need to be done. Find the warehouses, still need a management team to oversee this stuff. And then, you know, we've seen upfront costs run well into and over six figures without the pitfalls and things going wrong. So what are the alternatives? there are obviously accelerators, people like Pattern and Spreetail, both billion-dollar revenue companies now that will buy your inventory. They will control your brand entirely and use their own infrastructure. Sounds great, but the issue is that it's available to only about 0.1% of all e-commerce sellers right now, purely because the criteria is so strict. I think Pattern is probably 5 million home market, one channel sales in order to be considered. And you've got your aggregators, which obviously will buy your business, fully own that business, and utilize their infrastructure in a similar way to the accelerator. The challenge, of course, being that only or less than 1% of e-commerce businesses are actually acquired. So there's a huge hole in terms of the 99% that still need a solution to expansion, particularly something as complex as international expansion. So a better alternative, or an alternative, having identified few solutions for that 99%, is we see agencies obviously don't know how to launch in new markets or seldom know how to do that, and accelerators and aggregators don't want to. They want a proven concept. So we saw a gap in the market through our own experiences when kind of looking for a solution. And so at Vanquish, we do what others don't want to do. So we'll do all the hard graft in the background that these people won't do. So we, before we come on to kind of what that solution looks like, we're in favor of channel ownership. So the accelerators want full control and you're giving that up to them. That's okay for some, not criticizing that. But we believe in channel ownership and facilitating brands to own the channel. And we don't necessarily believe in Amazon as a pure play. There's still 61% of the market up for grabs worldwide, e-commerce. So, we promote a strong multi-channel strategy, which obviously diversifies risk and opportunity. And of course, a huge advantage to that would be a one partner solution through setup and into growth management. So obviously we've presented some opportunities and challenges, and being here today, we offer a solution to that. So just very briefly, so Vanquish offer a couple of things. There's the GTM game plan initially, which covers all of the things we've discussed. So we don't think there's anybody on the market right now with something as structured as we offer. So it's a very proprietary framework which delivers a guaranteed outcome. So starts with a very in-depth, holistic, bespoke strategy plan, which involves timelines, KPIs, all informed by market research, works through the done for you legal, regulatory, tax, trademarking, brand registry, everything that needs to be covered off foundationally, into retail compliant facilities. So 3PLs and warehouse networks that we know can do exactly what we need to do per channel and follow our standard operating procedures. So there's no risks in terms of warehousing. And then, of course, working through the rest of the things on screen without going into granular detail, because I think I'm probably running out of time. So we handle all of that. We also offer an importer and merchant on record turnkey solution for those of you who perhaps don't have an appetite for the setup process. So all of this is done in a very structured way over a set period of time, and often our partners will then follow on with eCom Alliance, which is our growth partnership program. So everything's done as shared success. So it's very much win-win with our partners. And by that same token, we choose our partners carefully. So we're not just, churning over accounts, really. We're looking for long-term partners that we can really add value to. And in that relationship, we handle everything from monthly tax filing and reporting, obviously all US-based, multi-channel account management, fulfillment management, and into-ad management, customer support. There's various elements of this where we utilize partners that we've built up in our network over the last 20 years. So that you're getting the very best, really, that's been vetted throughout the process. So a very, very quick, when I wrote this morning, it could have been a TED talk before I actually edited it. So I've got that down to as briefly as I can, bit of an overview on us, and we're here to answer any questions and any more information. I think there's an email going out, and be absolutely delighted to hear from anybody that needs help. So thank you for your time, and thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Johnny. And guys, I'm going to summarize it in a few words. If you need to expand to USA, you go to Johnny, even if you're an agency, because the agency, guys, why he said they don't touch other markets, because it's hard. Of course, it's hard. That's why we have people like Johnny and me and some other partners, because we do the hard part, then you do the easy part, which is not as easy, but what Johnny is doing, it's probably kind of unique. There is not that many companies who deal with that, because there is a lot of blockers. But see, I learned something new. I had no idea that US is not overcrowded. I had no idea that only 2% of European sellers are also selling in the States. So it's still early, and I'm gonna steal some of his information from my future webinars. I do that all the time. So a great presentation, John. I know that he needs to leave in like 10 minutes. He had something scheduled for a long time ago, so he won't be staying for the Q&A session. So if you have any questions for John, feel free to actually email him after the webinar. We're gonna send his information. So now we're gonna have Ricky Hooker, and we're gonna cross the big pond. I'm not sure if we call it like that, but we're gonna come back to Europe again, because the people who are selling in the USA and they're not selling in Europe, they should listen to what Ricky Hooker and global e-commerce experts are doing, because they're your one-stop shop solution for European expansion. So thanks, Ricky, for joining, and thank you for waiting. But by the way, we're very quick, guys. Last time I had the all-women webinar, each one was speaking for 30 minutes. So we're quick, like who? I don't know. I'm not watching. So okay, Ricky, thanks again. It's your turn, man. Nice to have
thank you. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me. And John, those the details there for the USA were fascinating, mainly because of course the journey that comes into the UK and EU has so many similarities and yet so many differences as well. So for this part of the talk, we wanted to talk a little bit about overseas sellers from outside the European geographic region. Just share my screen to enter the EU and the UK market. So as opposed to what John was talking about in terms of European sellers going to the US, this is literally the reverse if you're watching this webinar and you're coming in from the outside. So thanks for having me. My name's Ricky. I'm the GM at Global E-commerce Experts, and the business has been around for about a decade and has grown 2,000 or more sellers into the UK and the EU. So I think some of these stats you've already seen. We've got this huge market, as the guys have said. The numbers are relatively mixed in terms of the accuracy, but let's just lay it out. There's a massive opportunity from the UK market, from the European market. And I'm splitting those two things up because, of course, a few years ago, for whatever reason, the UK decided to leave Europe. We're still in the same place. We're still geographically in the region, but we're no longer in the EU, and as such, makes the situation slightly more complicated. But by no means something that should be shied away from. The reason being, the UK market is enormous and actually performs much of the European marketplaces, even combined in some cases. So for a seller that's coming from outside the European area, it's certainly worth considering doing both the UK and the EU regions at once. And for some sellers, certainly if you're coming from the US, who are dabbling into global expansion from the outset, the UK market being the same language, or although not the same language, but the same language, is certainly slightly easier to get the ball rolling. So we are specifically here talking about the European marketplaces, as opposed to, as John was talking about, the US market. So the well-trodden pathway, hey, look, as I said, there's some real similarities there of what that looks like. You need to start by doing your market research. You need to start by becoming compliant, and that's tax compliance, label compliance. We'll touch on a little bit more about them. You need to get launched. You need somewhere to fulfill them from. You need to promote and all those pieces in there. So the expansion journey itself, that fundamental backbone of expanding, is very similar than it is expanding to anywhere else. See what the scope of the opportunity is. Make sure you're allowed and you can comply, and then get stuck in and go and do it. So those pieces are the same wherever you want to go. What Global E-commerce Experts does is joins all that together into one organization, very little away of, in terms of partners, of taking and holding the hand of those sellers into the European market. So let's go into a little bit more detail about what feasibility is. Look, some of this has already been covered, so I'm not going to touch on this too much, because what we're talking about here is understanding the scale of what you've got. Understanding how much you can access in each different country, understanding whether or not your products are suitable. Most products are going to have some degree of suitability. If you're an American seller and you sell cowboy boot spurs, maybe, or gun racks for a pickup truck, maybe you're going to be slightly limited in terms of your market in Europe. But beyond that, it's a case of the size and scope of what you're doing. So once you're feasible, you, of course, as Nick said, you need to get a good VAT partner to come up with your VAT, and beyond that, some compliance when it comes to address services, responsible person, depending on some product categories. And nobody's mentioned DPR yet, so I'm pleased that that's on my slides because no one's mentioned DPR yet. But the environmental regulations, that's another taxation for some countries, France and Germany initially, other countries around Europe expanding. And the address service and responsible person service involves a degree of label checks. Amazon in particular, super hot on labels, making sure your labels are checked, got the right barcode, got the right ingredients shown, not got any banned substances, that kind of stuff. So the compliance piece is a big part of your setup. Very important that you're not having your SKUs taken down. And then once you've launched, hey, look, it's been, we've talked about it briefly. An omni-channel approach or a multi-channel approach pays. Yeah, absolutely. We love those numbers. 60 plus % of the e-commerce market off of Amazon. Most sellers who come in from outside of on online marketplaces from outside of the UK, predominantly we're talking about American sellers who have been successful on Amazon because the marketplace is so large. But that's not exclusive. You might be selling D2C from a Shopify site. You might not be selling on an online marketplace. But nonetheless, you're preparing yourself, choosing the right marketplace for your products, sorting out your payments. We're going to talk, I'm sure one of the other guests here will talk about payments later on, choosing platforms, and making your listings, transferring your listings onto new marketplaces and translating. And some really interesting pieces there in terms of translations for non-English speaking sellers and the types of gains that can be had from your A+ content, your back-end content being properly translated, your SEO being properly translated, and any regional nuances that might come from, for instance, additional opportunities that come from some countries. There's little tips like huge Turkish-based speaking population within Germany, for instance, and having paying some regard to that, making big differences. But certainly translating your listings is a big part of that marketplace launch. And then, of course, if you're ready to ship and you've done the business, as John said, in terms of moving goods into the region. You need to work out how to get them into the country. And then you need to choose a good 3PL fulfillment partner. We have an in-house shipping team who are very specialists in e-commerce shipments. What does that piece look like? I'll just keep sticking on the shipping for the moment. Well, what does that look like? Well, if you're an FBA shipper and you're shipping directly into FBA, you might want to ship by air, you might want to ship by sea. If you're going to ship by sea and you're going to ship by pallets, you might want to decant into a 3PL. You might want to ship some of your goods by sea, but to avoid stocking out on your listings, you might want to skim the tops of those pallets and send some of those goods by air directly into FBA. But what was absolutely important is that you choose a shipping and customs clearance agent that understands that if you stock out on any of these online marketplaces, it's pretty bad news. And importantly, and can give you shipping advice commensurate with storage index in FBA, with using a 3PL, with choosing a 3PL which is close to a suitable shipping port, with using shipping routes that are going to come economically into the countries that you're shipping into. So when it comes to those 3PLs, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Global E-commerce Experts has its own 3PL in the UK and in the Netherlands. Talk a little bit about why that is very shortly. But as John said, there's big differences in the way 3PLs work. There's big differences in terms of their service levels, in terms of how they're prepared for e-commerce, how they're prepared for fulfillment, what kind of software they're using to collect your orders and your connections, and the way that they're handling returns. Well, Hai has already talked about how you can look after your returns, how those goods are reworked if they are returned, and how you're buying those and presenting those, for instance, into FBA or skimmed off into ones and twos direct to sellers off your own website. And that, of course, will be necessary if you're taking an omni-channel approach. You'll have one set of stock typically, and you'll need that stock prepped for either a D2C direct-to-consumer model in single items on a final mile courier, or indeed through the FBA system, whether you're an FBA seller or a vendor seller. So I think Alex is going to touch on what that looks like with European multi 3PLs and final mile couriers later. So I won't skip across what those pieces look like too much, because he'll have much better information of what that looks like. But suffice to say, you're thousands of miles away, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. You're going to need someone to look after your stuff. Choosing a 3PL is very important, and choosing the location of that 3PL, as John mentioned as well, is super important to make sure that you can get your goods to market. You get a very high proportion of next day delivery opportunities if those should wish to exist. So we have a 3PL facility in the UK which handles stock supply to the UK, and then you would ship goods separately into the Netherlands to our 3PL facility in the Netherlands to handle the European market, and you can then access FBA fulfillment centres and the final mile courier network from that point onwards. So that does mean that you have to access the UK market. You are shipping goods separately, separate VAT number. Nick and the team at Hello Tax there can obviously get you well squared away with all those numbers that are required, or indeed using international one-stop shop. If you're not selling on a marketplace, you're selling off your own website, and what that piece looks like in terms of collecting the VAT at the source of where your goods are being stored. So we're dealing with both of those parts with clients who are both selling off a marketplace or selling selling on directly from their own website. When you move on from there, what you need then is someone close to hand who can help you through promoting what that bit looks like. And actually, a little bit of extra value for anyone listening to this is a QR code there to help you get a free account health check of your existing sales, which you might use as a little bit of initial spot feasibility to understand the scope of your products within the UK and the EU market. And if you're already selling in the UK, perhaps explore some of the other opportunities of an omni-channel approach. So scan that QR code on the screen there if you're interested in getting in touch to have an account health check on us for watching this webinar. Beyond that, of course, you need to be able to coordinate alongside someone who knows how much stock you've got and where you are, because you're within the same fulfillment centers in the UK and in the EU, handling your account management or ongoing account management, looking after your deals and things, because very often for those sellers, they're very busy with their business overseas, and they need some support in replicating that success using the techniques that they're already become accustomed to into the UK and the EU market. We're always big believers, and really pleased that John had already made this point, big believers in an omni-channel approach, not just using a marketplace, creating your own website content, gaining control of your data, gaining control of that Dream 100, your top customers, supply sources, maintaining and being able to resell to the existing clients, being able to build up your own business model within these countries rather than leaving that to the marketplace itself and having some repeatability. So that store piece fits hand in hand in terms of GE's account management piece, in terms of looking after and hand-holding those clients into the region. So we've been doing it for a long time. The business has been going for 10 years, but within the business, there's 20, 25 years of e-commerce, marketplace expansion, and international trade. So we're well accustomed to what it takes to build e-commerce brands into the region and handle the inbounding and looking after what that stock looks like. From that, look, it's churn, it's rinse and repeat. Let's churn, crank the wheel, add more marketplaces, add more platforms, and bear in mind at this point you haven't added any new SKUs. These are, as and Nick had already talked about, these are the products you're already experienced in. These are the products that you've already know a success. You've done the product development for. You've spent the money. You've made the investment. All you're doing here is cranking into a bigger market, new countries, make more translations, get a new VAT number, become compliant for that particular country. Although across the EU, the product compliance is all harmonious. So once you've got access to one country from a product compliance perspective, you have access to all of the countries in the EU. So a real opportunity there to add significant growth to the business. And when we're building out a strategic plan with a seller who's wanting to enter the region, we typically tell them that with the right kind of strategy and plans, the right kind of products, and maybe a bit of fair wind behind them, you could well be doubling your US sales if that's where you're based initially by using the European market, simply because there's more people to access, there's more savvy buyers than you've got at home, and the market is simply not quite as saturated. So massive opportunities to be had from the region, and we offer a complete one-stop shop internal golden ticket. It's uncanny the amount of services sitting on the golden ticket there that John was talking about. We do all of that in one piece, from the planning, the setup, onboarding, fulfillment, distribution, growth, and account management on there. If you want to quote, there's a QR code there on the screen. This will work both before, during the live broadcast and afterwards, if you'd like to find out more on that front. So a one-stop shop to European growth. That was a real whistle-stop, because I know that some of the other total gurus on the panel here have already covered some of these things. So I went pretty quickly, but suffice to say, the components of international growth into the region or certainly the blueprint for growth remains the same, irrespective of which country you're going to. So I think between Nick and Hai and John and Alex will have given you a really good insight into what you need and the type of investment. Now, for Amazon sellers, I will just right at the end here, Amazon do offer an incentive scheme or a discount scheme for entering new markets. If you're a US seller, and we'll be pleased if you get in touch with GE, we're happy to give you the link of how to access that in Seller Central. There is a discount of about 5% off of Amazon selling fees, which you can use to enter the UK and the EU market, even if you're an existing seller. That's valid for up to $800,000 of GMV. For your first $800,000 of of sales in Europe, you can get a 5% discount off the fees. To put that in perspective, the cost of European expansion, of bringing your goods into the UK and the EU, would rarely outweigh 5% of $800,000. It's not going to be that much. So in effect, coupled with some of the tips that Hai has given you in terms of increasing your margins, this is a real opportunity here to grow to a new market without actually taking any money out of your bank account, or certainly investing fairly in what that means, because it's in the form of discounts, and you still need more stock in those regions. So some really interesting pieces there, and lots of tips and tricks which you can give you, and we've had on our own hack series, and I know Nick's been involved in some of those. So really pleased to be involved in the panel here. Hope I didn't go on too long. Excited to help any seller from outside the UK and the EU who's keen to grow their online business and make a go of the European market. So thanks for having me, and thanks to the rest of the panel for listening to me as well. And any questions, yeah, I'd be delighted to answer.
Thank you, Ricky. I love the G's gold expansion ticket. It looks very good, you know.
We even have the Willy Wonka chocolate bars of the golden ticket with our details on. So we had if you catch next time we see you at an expo, give us a shout, and we'll make sure we get you tipped up with a Wonka bar. Okay, see guys, you know, Ricky and G, they also already have the ticket for you. Just need to go and take it. No, we're not gonna. So okay, guys. So I know Alex and Omar have been waiting. Omar has been taking selfies. They're going viral already. But Alex now is gonna talk for some boring stuff. Ricky mentioned something very, very important. Where is your warehouse located? Because from personal experience, I know the one thing that you need to do, the client orders, you need to deliver them as soon as possible. Otherwise, they're gonna change their mind, or the husband is gonna see what the wife has been shopping and they're cut her credit card. So logistics is very important. You know, it was the hardest thing that I had to deal with when I was managing my brand. So thanks, Alex. Thanks for your patience. Tell us more about you and what you guys are doing. I know it myself, but tell us to the other parts in the speaker. So thanks again for being here.
Thank you, Nick, very much. I'll share my screen now. Okay, hope you see it. Everything works, right?
Yeah, I see.
So it's great to be here with all of you. A lot of professionals from logistics. Already you saw the golden tickets. Different solutions and a lot of materials that I think you should analyze and think about. I would focus on something that we're doing in WAPI for the past 6 years, and this is the Europe. My presentation today is called How to Optimize Fulfillment and Logistics Costs, but of course, it is not only about logistics costs, it's about Europe in general. As you have already heard today, I'll tell you about myself in a few minutes. As you heard, Europe is huge, and I can add exactly the same. Europe is huge. More than 700 million people. We saw the presentation now that the market with more than 800 billion euro annually, yes? So it is twice more than United States, actually. The only problem that I'm trying to solve for the past 6 years is that when you go to USA, you just go to Amazon and you get 60% of the market. When you go to Europe, you go to Amazon, you get 8-9% of the market. That's all. Because if you want to get all the Europe, you have to go multi-channel. If you want to go to Europe successfully, you need to understand that Europe is broken into parts, into countries. Omar is helping to solve it with the translations and localizations. I'm helping to solve it with logistics. You can see the map. We've got around 11 warehouses now. So we're building a fulfillment network because first thing that we found, the how you can save costs and how you can win e-commerce in Europe, you have to move from cross-border to local deliveries. So of course, you can go to Europe, find a 3PL in Germany or in Netherlands, sign a contract, and they'll send your goods all over the Europe. But if you want to really win the competition, it's not enough, because products from Germany to Poland, to France, to Spain, to Italy, they can go for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. It depends on your luck. If you want to be very fast, you have to be located in every market, in Germany, in Spain, in Italy, in Poland, in Netherlands, in UK. You have to have their warehouse. And if you have so many warehouses, now starts the way how to manage all of it, how to control all of it. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're developing the system, and we have created one, how it was already told today, one-stop shop, one place, one dashboard for you, one virtual where you have virtual warehouses all over the Europe. You see the inventories, you see the trackings, the deliveries, everything in one place. We help you to manage all of it. For example, you can save money not only on cross-border versus local deliveries. In Europe, you've got not only a lot of marketplaces, but a lot of courier services. So here is only a small part of it. Yes, you've got Carels Express in Spain, SDA in Italy, you have GLS, you have Hermes, you have InPost, you have DP, you have a lot of them. Yodel, Royal Mail in UK, and every courier service has special offers, products, territories where they can win. So if you can manage the prices, if you can manage the courier services, you will definitely get the better price. You will win the money. You will be more efficient. But to do so, you have to know about all of them, and you have to integrate with all of them. You have to find the partners who are integrated with them, and you have to know and have tools to manage all of it. Of course, you can go only to Amazon, get 10% of the European market, and you will not need this work with couriers, because Amazon is doing everything. Yes, for you, the pan-European system that Amazon has created that helps you with moving your stocks all around the Europe, what Amazon is doing, choosing the right couriers in every country. So when Wapi came to the market, Amazon has already created it, and we have now created this not only for Amazon. So if you want to work with Allegro in Poland, Cdiscount in France, Kaufland, Otto, Bol, Frugo, eMAG, actually the marketplaces that in their countries they have majority of the market. Like Allegro has more than 80% of Polish market. Otto and Kaufland, the same together, they have majority in Germany. Cdiscount has majority in France. Bol.com wins Amazon in Netherlands. So this local marketplaces, you can get a huge advantage against your competitors if you don't only sell on Amazon, but also go on the local marketplaces. Of course, you can try to use multi-channel fulfillment on Amazon, but believe me, you will not like it because it's absolutely not cost efficient. So what we have here more, the inventory. Yes, you have to control the inventory, and when you're multi-channel, it is very, very high risk of going out of stock. So AI, the system must forecast the demand, forecast your sales, help you to show on which warehouse where you're about or to go out of stock in 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time, and it has to give you suggestions. Our system is not yet like Amazon pan Europe, moving your stock without informing you. Okay, so our system now give you suggestions, and you together with us, you can decide and move the stock so that you avoid the situation with out of stock. But when you do this, you'll save a lot of money, because as you know, out of stock is bad reviews. If you even want to send the goods, there are some situations like you don't have this stock in the local country, for example, in Germany, but you have it in Poland, and you decide to fulfill the order from Poland, and you just lose the money because cross-border is always more expensive than the local delivery. So you have to have a very sophisticated order management and processing system that will help you to easily crack this European diversity and make it easy for you, so that you see all the stocks everywhere, you know how to where to put your stock so that it will be efficient, what couriers to choose so that it will be price efficient. You'll manage to deliver your parcels very fast, and it doesn't matter where it is, in Spain or in Baltic states or in UK. Of course, you will need to have partners like with tax and with bookkeeping and with accounting. There are a lot of challenges, but hopefully we have a specialist here who can help you. And of course, the localization, because every country in Europe, you need to support people in French if you want to go to France. You need to support people in Spanish if you want to go to Spain. The same with Italy, Romania, and etc., etc. So you will have a lot of challenges, but the one that is about the logistics, Wapi Fulfillment Network, we definitely can help you with this one. Of course, you have not only the marketplaces, you have the D2C deliveries and Amazon. And if you want to go actually to Amazon in Europe and in the UK, it is not so sophisticated that going to multi-channel. So you need to have 2 warehouses, like one in UK. It's better to have 2 warehouses, one in UK, one in Germany, 3PLs. Everything what I was telling about how he is doing it in USA, pretty the same system in Europe with small differences. You store your goods at 3PLs in UK and Germany, and then just replenish the Amazon FBA warehouses. So what we have more here with Wapi, yes, of course, you will have a lot of integration costs. You can try to do everything manually, but then you will spend the money on salaries. You need to find the integrators. They also are asking for money, or when you're working with Wapi, we are like IT companies, so we integrate with everybody step by step by our own, and we don't charge you absolutely anything. So when you go with us, you get not only logistics partner, but also the integrator. Also, what we are doing for you in Wapi, we've got our community where we're searching for specialist professionals that are covering other things in Europe that you will need to conquer. Please, it's absolutely for free, no charge. Just if you find some information there that will help you, we will be just very, very pleased. That's my contacts here. If you have any questions about the logistics, about myself was in the beginning, I will finish with it. So I am CEO and co-founder of Wapi. I'm Alexander Friedman. I'm in logistics since I'm 13 years old. I was every summer I was working at the warehouse. In my life, I did everything connected in logistics, customs, brokerage, freight forwarding, air, sea, rail, trucks, LTL, small shipments, big shipments, everything in logistics. So you can ask me any question, and I will be super glad to help you to conquer the Europe. Thank you. Thank you, Nick, for giving me the
Thanks, Alex. I was into brick and welding once. My father has a construction business, so one thing of welded like a full truck of 20 tons of brick. So I've done that, but this is the only logistic part that I've done. So the last but not the least, thanks Omar for all the selfies and for your huge patience. Now we're gonna talk about the last thing, localization and translations, because if you did all the 5 things before that correctly. If you decide to skip the last part, you're going to waste a lot of money. So Omar is going to tell you why localization is very important and why you need to use like local translator. So Omar, thanks again. Tell us more about you and what you guys are doing.
Great. Thank you all for being here and for being still here. It was a great webinar so far. Lots of information. You know, it's great that Nick has this live on YouTube because we need all the information to break it down and really take everything little by little, because you know, with all this information you can really make a difference, make a lot of money, and improve your business. If you at a super professional level, like a super high corporate ladder, or you're just a small business, you can definitely improve your business. Alex, I will try to share now. Can you share?
My friend. I need to de-share?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now I think I'm in.
Yes,
I think I'm in here. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Play. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so like I already said, this is disturbing here. That's okay. Like I said, so we have to know. You have to know your customer and speak their language. This is not only when you come from the US or anywhere else. This is really for the whole world. And it's not only about translating or, you know, like translating the words in another language. It's about the localization right now. And I think I will give you a few examples about this as well. Just, you know, I got a new one in my head very quickly. So my name is Omar Angri. I'm the CEO and co-founder of marginbusiness.com. We're the leading localization and optimization agency for e-com sellers for the last 10 years. We are based in the United Arab Emirates. Beautiful place, really. We have so far translated and optimized and localized about over 100,000 listings over the past 10 years. It's not about the number, it's about the quality, obviously, but I just wanted to give you a little overview about how we work and what the kind of sellers are we working with in order to have such numbers. Okay, let's begin very quickly. In the last, I would say the last years, it got more and more important to have really something tailored for a customer which you are targeting. So that means you don't just go to Alibaba anymore and you just get a product and then you throw it out there and, you know, you try to make 100,000. We're not in 2010 anymore. You have to localize your products and the services in the European Union region or anywhere else. Tailor offerings and specific needs and preferences for consumers. So if you go in front of your consumer, I have a very good example. For example, Lexus did this very well. Burger King is doing this as well very well. You have in the UAE, for example, there is now, you have in traditional clothes, somebody coming out of a very nice villa, going in front of his Lexus, and everything is like localized. You know, when you see the villa, it's from Dubai. You know, when you see the clothes, it's somewhere from the Middle East. If you don't know exactly, there is different headscarves and different things. But anyway, you know that it's from the Middle East. And when you see the car, the size of the car and how the car looks, you know that it's not from Europe, it's from the Middle East. So these are some very important points we have to consider. So adapt the language, use the marketing materials, and connect with your local audience. Even if it means for every single country has a local audience and nobody reacts the same to anything. What is very important is as well to demonstrate the commitment and understanding and meeting the needs of consumers, enhanced reputation, and position companies as trusted partners. So what means is that you need to be a trusted source. When people see your product, they need to say, okay, this one, I trust this product because my children or my family or me, I'm going to use it and I'm going to use it on a daily basis. This is super important. benefits of localization on Amazon, EU and worldwide, because we talked the EU, obviously I have EU here and here. Speak to your customer's language. We don't just speak about a language. We speak about the human being in general. We speak about the needs. We speak about everything what is around there. So this implies not just your spoken language, but also the interpretation of text that influences their decision to purchase a product with confidence. So like we already know, we are in the zombie scrolling era. That means your first bullet point might not go very far, especially when you're on mobile. So we're looking at pictures, maybe some text on the picture. We're looking at the first bullet point, if anybody goes to the first bullet point, and we're looking at the title. So you need to capture your customers in the first few seconds. I spoke with Alexander, I think is, I forgot the name. I think I forgot the name. But anyway, I have been on a webinar and they mentioned we have like 6 seconds with the video to capture the audience of our consumers. So very important that we do this. Really, our tools that we have to really make sure that we hit the customer's attention in the first few seconds. Increased visibility. This involves optimizing the product listings. So advertising, utilizing marketing strategies and improve the search ranking and exposure of your products on the platform. So not only localization, as well, very important, localized or native keywords. How do customers search in my language or in the language I'm selling to the customer to? I need to have people who understand that, who know how to search that. So we have that. We can help with that. Anyone who lived abroad knows exactly that there might be 10 different words for maybe for one product, you know, and you need to find out which is the good product. And when you are not from that region or when you're selling in that region, you need to all have all of this information in order to attract this type of customer. Improve customer experience. Customers are more likely to buy your product that are tailored in their language, currency, and cultural preferences. So as well, adapt the currency, the price, cultural preferences as well. Photos cannot be the same in every country. Maybe in Europe, yes, but as well, there is Germany is cold, Spain is southern Spain is hot. So we have to adapt ourselves when we sell. Fortunately, we can change pictures within the European region right now. So this is definitely something we can change there. And all of this will give us about 50% more. This is what we have seen. If you, obviously you need to before have everything in place. The whole other things, what we just talked about, taxes, logistics, amazing software. If you have everything in place and then you add the localization, there is definitely a 50% increase of your sales there. So competitive advantage. By localizing your listing, you can gain competitive advantage over other sellers who haven't localized their listing. This goes specifically for the big Chinese sellers who are plastering all over the world with products directly from the manufacturing side and obviously make a lot of money, but they could make a lot more money. But if you can get an improved product and sell as well, the customer will more likely buy from you because he feels there's some warmth in there. There is a passion in there. There is a customer service who understands what you want from them. Everything is tailored towards the customer, and this is many countries will still need to learn that. But I have seen a high improvement level from that side as well. So, but still, we can make a big difference in that. The PPC advantage. This is definitely when you combine your listings with Eva, you have the PPC advantage as well, because when you take our keywords and Eva's keywords and compare them, you can even pull down the best keywords and put them into your software. Only native speakers can really search for good keywords, no matter what you heard. Okay, there's good data analysts and they can pull you out some keywords, but you always need these native speakers in order to be 100% sure. And even if they are green or red means super good and green means a little bit less, but still they have sales. better take 100 sales for sure than going and swim with the big sharks and try to get bitten and lose a lot of money. So this is always my approach in that as well. This is just a quick example that I have. This is a product out of the UK. I think from what I've seen, super good. Price is super good. They are as well UK based, but they know their customers. So they are. It's just perfect. It's a perfect listing for me. You have everything you need. They mention as well, we're from the UK. So they definitely make a lot of sales. You can see their sales, 30-day sales. They have about 2,100 in sales. And the product is as well a very trending product. So really good. Now we have the second one, is as well from the UK, but they definitely do a big mistake. Obviously, their photos are not good, so it's not localized. It don't speak to the customer, especially for women. This is super important that we talk about something here which really has an impact on them. Not only that it's a fancy, outside looks good, looks, it needs to have a community. It needs to have something what they can relate to. And having like 3 photos here, little text, it's not the best, I don't talk about the product. Maybe the product is effective, but they definitely need to do a little bit more in their marketing. Here's 2 other products. What you might not see is that the second one here, the WellGuard, what I've seen is that they actually source from China, which I was very surprised, because all the other products are from the UK, and you can see here 974 in this one and 851 from this one. So that means this company, if they're Chinese or if they're UK, I'm not sure about that, but I can tell you they need to show that they are sourcing from China. So their approach, and they know their customer. This is 100% clear, because although the product comes from China, they definitely sell a lot and they know how to do it. Maybe it's the price as well, because it's not so expensive, but still, I think when you sell in the European Union and UK and even in the US, you need to attract your local customer. And with the colors and everything, they definitely attracted here, the UK, and they have amazing sales over there. Okay, now we come to the last part. Do's and don'ts when you're entering new market. Now, normally I don't mention this anymore, but I've still seen sellers which are actually using Google Translate, like, no, don't do that. You're going to mess up everything that you have created. All the money that you have spent before will be down the drain, because, who want to read through Google Translate, No, not me. And as well, pictures the same. You don't want to have generated, the same as we have AI generated pictures, which in the future might come, but right now they look horrible if anyone have tried them yet. So Amazon automatic translations as well, not generated products, not anymore, my opinion. And what I've seen so far is that it don't work anymore. Sell with the wrong intention means if you really want to only out for money, right now it's not the time to only go for money. You really have a passion, a purpose, and you need to help. You need to help people in this world in order to make money. So solve a problem, and if it's your passion, even better. So people can identify you with the brand, with your product. Localization is the best what you can do. Hire an agency. Don't do things on your own. Really hire an agency like Hi, like Alex, like HelloTax. I've tried to do the taxes on my own. I recommend not to do it. Go get HelloTax. You're gonna get problems. So really, that's one thing. Even if it costs you money, I'm really serious about this. Just spend that money, and you're gonna be a lot more chilled, and you can focus on what is really important. So create a brand, generate products, create a brand, products with purpose. I said it already, very important. Conclusion, when entering foreign markets, it's important to avoid shortcuts, as they can lead to missed opportunities for success. Foreign markets are not simply another location for your product set, but can instead be a pathway to even greater prosperity. I'm closing this with this sentence here, and thank you all for your attention. I think that was, I hope it was not too much for everyone who attended here right now. So very quick, we are marginbusiness.com. You can find us at marginbusiness.com. We're very active on LinkedIn. We are doing the listing optimization and translation services. It don't stop there. We do as well translation for everything else, but we are really focused since years on the Amazon world and as well on Noon in the UAE. You can, like I said, it's very important to have powerful content, optimization, and localization services. So we help everyone around the world. If you have questions, just let me know. And there is a very special offer for the very small sellers. 1 to 5 listings. We have a new AI tool, which is amzlistai.com. And we offer at the moment a free listing and 1 free language for each localization package bought. Value is up to $999 US. And I think Hello Tax or Nick has as well a super good offer for you all. This is just a quick squeeze in, but the main message I wanted to bring through is really make sure that you understand your customer. Thank you so much. And I hope it was under 10 minutes.
Yeah. Thanks, Omar. Time is relative. Some are 10, some are 20, but we're not perfect. The one thing that Omar said, there is stuff that you can try to do yourself, and there is stuff that you shouldn't do yourself. And the people who don't listen to our advice, sometimes they get in a lot of trouble. A seller that I spoke with 2 years ago decided to do the VAT by themselves, and they messed up the VAT compliance for 200 brands. Now they're running back to us. So, everybody hates taxes. Nobody wants to pay money, but sometimes you need to pay money so you can save paying much more money in the future. But I thank you, everybody. Now we have a few questions because we have the Champions League semi-final in 20 minutes. So we need to be quick. Who's going to go to the final, Real Madrid or Man City? This is the first question from the Q&A session. No answers? Okay, I'm gonna say Man City. I hate Real Madrid. So let's go with the real questions. The first one is from Puru Sharma. Let me see what is the question. Hope we will get a recording or access of this presentation one. Yes, we're gonna send that after the webinar. The second question is from Jelly Oyani. What does one need to do if one wants to store goods in other EU markets and fulfill it to the customer base in those countries using Amazon? Moreover, if I reside in Germany, I want the supplier to deliver those goods in the country, for example, Italy, do I need to pay taxes in the country, or what do I need to do and how? Okay, Julie, your question is very complicated, but I'm gonna answer it as simply as possible. If you hold stock in any country in Europe, you need to have VAT. Option number now. This is actually the one thing that it's always valid. The second option is if you hold stock in one market, let's say Germany, and you fulfill to all the other markets across the European Union, once you reach 10,000 euro, you can opt in for the so-called one-stop shop. And in this case, you'll be able to pay your taxes for the VAT only in Germany. You need to do the VAT registration and the OSS registration. You're gonna pay your VAT returns monthly, or OSS returns and reports quarterly, but you will be able to fulfill to B2C clients across the whole European Union only if you're not holding stock in the other markets. So in this case, you can do with one VAT and one OSS in one market. If you hold stock in multiple countries, you would need to have a VAT in each of those markets. Okay, so I hope this answers your question. The next question is from anonymous attendee. Is UK bigger than Germany in terms of sales? No, they're not. They used to be, not anymore. Japan is the second on Amazon. Germany is the third one, and the biggest one is US, of course. So next question from Joseph Ndor. I'm from Senegal and I want to start my e-commerce business and I need to collaborate with all, and how we can start this journey in my new business. Okay, Joseph, book a call with me. I'm gonna send you an email and we're gonna help you out to get started. We're gonna help with the VAT and I'm gonna connect with the other partners. So let's go to the other questions. Let me just open the list from the people who sent this question before the event. The first one is from Mei Lee. Can I translate my keywords from US, UK to sell in EU countries? That's for you, Omar.
No, absolutely not. You need to do a keyword research for each and every single country.
Okay, thanks so much. Short and sweet. The next question is from, just give me a second. Okay. Do I need a legal US entity to start selling in the USA? Hi, this is for you. This is from Asha Singh.
And I need to listen you to remember the question. Can you repeat again?
Okay, yeah. Do I need a legal US entity to start selling in the USA? A company, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. You don't need, like, you can always just send it as long as you have a 3PL. It can be, and the custom clearance, it can be taken care of. But having a legal entity will make your life easy. Maybe not in the first phase, but having a legal entity will make a lot of sense to get a better from Amazon.
Okay. So the short answer is not mandatory. The one, Carson, is if you want to make your life easier, do it. Okay.
Exactly.
Thanks, Kai. Another question from Wars Anderson. Should I leave images and video in English on my EU listings? That's for you, Omar.
If you can, you should not. If you can change it, don't do it. Try to put it in every. If it don't cause you too much trouble, change it. So normally you have tools today. You can really easy fix that one.
Okay. Thanks so much. Next question. I think this one is for you, Alex, from Matteo Rossi. What are the key things you should look for when choosing a 3PL to work with when selling on both your own store and Amazon Marketplace? Alex, you're muted.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, first of all, it's very simple. You have to search for the warehouse that knows what is e-commerce. Is number one. If the warehouse 3PL didn't work with e-commerce, don't even step there inside. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you want to work and with Amazon FBA and with D2C sales from your website, the 3PL must know how to prepare goods to Amazon, and 3PL has to have processes inside how to fulfill the D2C orders. So actually, absolutely not all of them know how to do it. Little of them know both. Majority know only one part or the second part. So if you want both, search for the experienced warehouses. I think this is the two main criteria. The third, of course, is price. Search for a better price.
Okay. Thanks, Alex. So now we have another question from Anand Kapoor. What can we do with returns in the USA if we're not in the USA? I think that's for you, Kai.
Yeah, that's exactly what I described, because for Indian sellers, Chinese sellers, European sellers, that's one of the biggest problems. So what I would do is, just use the EVA returns management facility. And what you need to do is it's a 30 seconds task. If you basically switch from Amazon to our returns facility. So we get all the returns, inspect them, and the ones which are in new condition sent to Amazon. Like new conditions, maybe based on your business decisions, sent to Amazon. And if it is maybe in a used condition, we can donate to the right people. It's a brand awareness thing. Or finally, it's not reusable at all, we can dispose. So using EVA returns management can help you if you are not in US.
Okay, thanks, Kai. Another question from Millie A. Is brand registry coming to EU account automatically from US?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't need to do anything. That's the short answer.
Yes.
Okay, another question, actually it's not a question, a comment. Anonymous attendee, I love all your webinars. That's good. It's good to be loved. Okay, thank you guys. We enjoy them as well. Trying to make them shorter, but it doesn't always work out. A few more questions. So from Jacob Mitchell, I'm a US seller. What online marketplace do you recommend for an e-commerce seller and why when expanding in Europe? I think everybody of you guys can answer this question, more or less. Who do I take? Okay, I'm gonna start first. I mean, Amazon, it's really easy for non-EU companies because just one thing, if you're US seller, you get the VAT quicker in Germany. Don't need translation, central location. Amazon is gonna collect the VAT and they're gonna pay that to the tax authority. So the only thing that Hell Tax is gonna do, for example, we're just gonna just register your VAT and file your reports, and they're gonna take care of the returns. Alex is gonna take care of the logistics. Somewhere is gonna take care of the translation, localization, and the listing. Somewhere is gonna reimburse all your all the stuff that Amazon owes you from the States. So, and of course, this is the long story short. But Amazon is the easiest one, and then you should expand to other markets, because and Amazon is still early. I live in Bulgaria. I order from Amazon Germany all the time. I get it here in 2 days. So even though, like Alex said, it's very fragmented, Amazon is still the king. It's still the king in Europe. Okay, do you guys would like to add something? Because I know that you work with other marketplaces.
As an official service provider of Allegro for 2 years, I have to mention Allegro in Poland. And also all the biggest marketplaces, the local ones that I was telling you about today. Actually, Bulgaria, Romania, you've got great eMAG there in your region. I think they deliver faster than Amazon. It must be just one day.
I've never ordered from eMAG, by the way.
Right, and next time you will tell us how fast will be, but I think it must be 24 hours.
Yeah. The one thing why I mentioned Amazon is because I rarely order stuff only from Amazon. My wife orders stuff from local shops and marketplaces. Some of these guys didn't even bother to call for confirmation or to send the follow-up email. The courier calls you in 1 week. Hey, no, we have a delivery. Okay, where from? Okay, we forgot that we ordered from you guys. So Amazon is just too good. I mean, it's so easy to order. I mean, for example, I won't order a book. I cannot find it anywhere. I go to Amazon Germany, I buy the book, and I get it in 1 week. So, anyways, I mean, that's just my opinion.
There was more. The Cdiscount in France is very big, and the Bol in Netherlands very big, and Kaufland and Otto in Germany are very big. That's the biggest that I know.
Yeah, there is plenty. All of those guys are partners, Shopify, which is a platform. But like I said, probably Amazon is the easiest, to get started with. Actually, guys, we have three more questions. The next one is from Arjun Patel. What are the packaging and labeling requirements for international shipping? I think that's for you, Alex, and you, Hai, if you guys
can you repeat
answer that. Yeah, just give me a second. Let me read it again. What are the packaging and labeling requirements for international shipping?
There are a lot of different requirements, like what you can send and what you can't send. Yeah, I think the question must be specified. Like,
okay, guys, please send.
Can I send alcohol, or can I send perfume, or can I send food? Or how big can be? There's a huge amount of requirements.
Okay, guys, so send a more detailed question to Alex after I think he's gonna answer that. Another question from Puru Sharma. Great point on the warehouse and logistics, Alex. How do you foresee a metaverse for Wapi so that reseller can visit and have a look and feel of the business? I can be of help shaping those marketing solutions, targeted webinars. So, okay, guys, get in touch after the webinar, and we can discuss that with all of us.
I want to discuss the metaverse of Wapi, Nick.
Yeah, man, it's too complicated.
That's another webinar. I think.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have one more question. There was one from Luca Bianchi, European brand owner. How long does it take for an international brand to launch in the US? This is the last question. I think you can answer that. Hi.
Yeah, how long does it take to launch in US? That's the question, right?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, there are a couple of factors there. Assuming all the products are ready and shipped, maybe it will take 6 to 8 weeks, to arrive in US and, you know, packaging and labeling, probably around 6 weeks if everything goes fine. And then there is the other side, that's more the logistic side, but in the meantime, in parallel, the listings needs to be created, and you know, the advertising strategy needs to be planned for the launch. I can say that, you know, it will not take too much time. In parallel, 6 weeks for logistics is another 6 to 8 weeks for you know, launching on Amazon. One of the things that we do, because we are an advanced Amazon partner, ad partner, we get always an Amazon rep, and we associate it together with the team. So we always get a person from Amazon to help the launch to be successful, because there is a 60 days, like a honeymoon period, which is really the most important for the brand to increase the sales velocity.
Okay, thanks, Kai. And I think that was the last question. So thank you, everybody, for staying with us till then. Thank you, Kai, Omar, Alex, and the other speakers who had to go. They had some other engagements. We have like 10K in giveaways. So if you guys want to expand in Europe, the only thing is keeping you, I'm gonna say some stupid word, like you need to have both to do that. So nobody's gonna make the next step for you. We have all the resources, we have all the partners. We even provide you some funding and deals for that. So the next step is yours. So let's just wrap it up, guys. Who is gonna win tonight? Who's gonna go to the final? Real Madrid or Man City? Let's hear free.
I have no idea, really. I don't watch football. I'm sorry about that, you know.
We're watching hockey now. It's World Championship happening in Latvia.
I will go for Real Madrid, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't like both teams. I hope they both lose, but there is no such option. So let's say I'm sick of Real Madrid. And Alex, hockey, the best players are not playing, man. The NHL is still in the playoffs. So who is playing in the World Cup?
I went on one game. I was watching Latvia, Canada, and Canada won with score 6-0. So
yeah, man. The puck is successful. Yeah, the puck is too small. I can hardly see it. I don't understand what's happening. So thank you guys again. It was great having you. We had a lot of people, a lot of questions. We're gonna cut the webinar into shorts. We're gonna share that. We're gonna share the recording to everybody. So adios, muchachos. Have a good night and see you around.
Thank you so much, Nick,
for organizing it. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks for organizing, Nick. Bye bye.
See all of you.
Bye.
Bye, Alex.